In Chinese movies, Taoist monks are just like superheroes. They hide in mountains, mastering martial arts and magical spells. Some of them can even control the weather and tell the future. It sounds so cool, but mysterious as well. Nowadays, we send thousands of tons of metal into outer space. Meanwhile, in remote mountains of China, many Taoists, they are still sticking to their ancient ways. I've always wondered, in modern society, what are they actually practicing every day and what are they really looking for? With all these questions in mind, I'm going to visit Wudang Mountain, the heart of Chinese Taoism. I'm going to stay there for 5 days and experience the hidden life like real monks. Can I learn the Taoist Kung Fu? And do the magical spells really exist? Come with me, let's find it out. Hi friends, the place behind me is where I will start my 5 days Taoist practice. To be honest, I'm a little bit nervous. Well, I'm in the mountain Wudang. I will spend 5 days here to practice like a real Taoist monk. Whoa, I just can't wait to see my Shifu. This place is actually a local guest house. Every off-season in spring and winter, the master comes here to cultivate himself and teach a few of apprentices. Usually, they don't take total beginners like me. I reached out to several masters and he was the only one who said yes. Even from far away, I could spot the master teaching Tai Chi on the mountain platform. That must be my Shifu. I hurried to change my clothes and go meet him. This is Master Tong. He's been practicing Taoism, martial arts, traditional Chinese medicine, and Taoist magic on Wudang Mountain since he was a teenager. He once trained as a famous Zixiao palace here, and now he runs his own Taoist school, taking in students from outside too. Standing on the platform, there were no fancy rituals. My first cultivation lesson began right away. Yep, just some basic foot moves. Master said this is the foundation of Tai Chi. Only when your footwork is spot on can your whole body movements be correct. I thought he was just stepping around randomly, but turns out every single step follows a specific set of rules. Alright then, let me feel the magic behind these steps. Well, we just finished an hour of practice and now it's time of break. I want to show you something really funny, really interesting. I got this feeling the very first time. So when I practice the Tai Chi steps, I have to keep my mind empty. I cannot think anything. Yes, even the steps itself. Okay, when I follow master's step, I have to keep my mind totally empty and let the body follow the movement. That's true. I got stuck or make mistakes every time I think about, which foot should I go next, what kind of movement. So I asked the Shifu. He said, that's exactly the way of Taoism. So you have to follow the feeling and the movement of your body, not the thinking. Really? That is actually something new for me. First time. Now it's time for lunch. The spread looks simple, but this is a spiritual retreat, not a vacation. Most Taoist monks on the mountain stick to a plain diet. Compared to theirs, my meal is already quite a feast. When the afternoon practice kicked off, a lady who'd come all the way from Hong Kong joined our group. She told me that constant stress had left her in a sub-healthy state with some inflammation issues, so she'd come to Wudang Mountain, hoping to relieve stress and restore her vitality through cultivation. Wow, it seems Wudang's legendary healing power has really gained fame far and wide. After 2 hours of training, just when I thought the day was wrapping up, Master Tong finally started teaching us hand movements. Push, rotate, push. These are the fundamental moves of Tai Chi, known as Yun Shou. It's named because the palms flow as smoothly as drifting clouds. Master said this move helps beginners feel the rhythm and circulation of Tai Chi energy. The movements may look easy, but every joint has precise details to follow. He corrected my posture with great patience, and hit me again. Those seemingly natural and effortless moves are actually based on strict standards. Only seasoned practitioners can master them so thoroughly that they flow as naturally as breathing. By the end of the afternoon practice, I could finally complete a full cycle of cloud hands.
Standing on the mountain at the sunset, I imagined clouds swirling and surging between my palms, and slowly my body seemed to sync with Tai Chi's gentle rhythm. After dinner, Master Tong offered to give us a talk about Taoist culture and knowledge. If you're new to Taoism, here's a quick breakdown. It's an indigenous Chinese religion that weaves together elements of medicine, martial arts, divination, and feng shui. For example, Taoism holds that everything in the world is composed of 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. These elements interact in a cycle of mutual generation and restriction. Wood generates fire, think of dry firewood blazing into a roaring flame. Fire restricts metal, imagine metal melting under extreme heat. Based on this theory, Taoism connects the 5 elements to seasons, human organs, music, and even directions, forming an interconnected system of how all things in nature support and constrain one another. If Tai Chi is for physical cultivation, then Taoist culture is for nourishing one's spiritual strength. Even though I was a bit lost during the lecture, I finally got a glimpse of that mysterious power I'd heard so much about before. That was my first day of cultivation on Wudang Mountain, and it's left me absolutely excited for what's to come.
Guys, good morning. Now it's about 7 o'clock, and we are going to do the morning exercise. Well, it's a little tough for me, but I will try my best. Let's go.
The next day, we started with even more intense training as soon as we got up. Master led us through warm-ups and leg stretches. More complex Tai Chi moves awaited us today. Though the mountain air still carried a chill in March, it didn't take long before everyone was breaking into a sweat. Master nodded in approval and said, "This is what it means to practice properly. Tai Chi stimulates the flow of Qi in our bodies, and that's why we feel this warmth." Right after lunch, Master smiled and said he'd take us to see what a real Taoist daily life is all about. We walked on the slippery stone slabs to the gate of the Taoist Temple. When we arrived, we happened upon the Taoist monks holding a ceremony in the main hall. Outside, the rain kept falling, pattering gently against the eaves. Inside, the clear, melodious Taoist music intertwined with the monks' deep chants, echoing through the hall. These 2 sounds blended together, flowing down the eaves that have stood here for centuries, and dripped to the ground as raindrops. This ancient temple has witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, and embraced the joys and sorrows of countless ordinary people. For thousands of years, devout believers have lit candles and made their wishes here, time and time again. And today, it's just another ordinary rainy day with misty mountains stretching out beyond, in the long flow of time. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, after 2 days of practice, we finally got to start learning Tai Chi sword. There's a good reason for this order. Tai Chi sword evolved from Tai Chi. They're 2 sides of the same coin, but sword practice is way more tiring. It drains your energy faster, and it has way more tiny details to nail. The sword looks like a piece of soft iron, but Master told us it's actually a magic tool. It helps beginners correct their movements and find the right way to channel their strengths. Could it really be that amazing? No special effects, no dub sounds. When Master wielded it, this flimsy iron sword let out a sharp, clear humming sound. I tried over and over again, but my sword didn't make a single peep. After practicing for almost half an hour, I finally got the hang of it. You need to strike clean and sharp. Meanwhile, your waist and feet twist at the same time. Only when you put all your strength into it can you land the perfect thrust. Don't underestimate this move. After doing it a few dozen times, my right arm and shoulder were completely stiff and sore. Just then, the girl from Hong Kong picked up her luggage and said goodbye to us. Turns out she was heading back home that very day. We took a group photo together, then watched her walk down the mountain in the drizzle. On this mountain, practitioners come and go all the time. Being able to practice together like this is definitely a special kind of fate.
Well, you can see I got already sweating, and to be honest, the sword practicing is much more difficult than the fist, than the pure hand.
I had already spent 3 days in the mountains, and every single day the master ate, slept, and practiced martial arts just like us. There were no magical spells for immortality or fortune-telling to speak of. Could he have been deliberately hiding his powers? So I decided to explore other Taoist temples and palaces in the mountains to meet more practitioners.
Our first step is the Tai Temple.
This red temple was my first stop on Wudang mountain. Walking through the winding corridors, I reached the main hall. From legends, this was once the place where a young immortal practiced his cultivation, and it's said to be the most efficacious spot for praying for academic success. Look at these red cloth strips, each one carries people's most sincere wishes. What fascinated me most about this temple was its emerald green roof tiles, crafted using the exact same technique as those in the Forbidden City in Beijing. My next stop was Zishao Palace. Climbing up the steep stone steps, I found that Taoist practitioners still live and practice in this temple perched on the mountaintop. Take a close look at the flower carvings on the outer walls. They signify that this temple is home to female Taoist nuns. Stepping inside the main hall, I was immediately stunned by the exquisite decorations on the ceiling. Silk-like Taoist banners were embroidered with magnificent patterns and the titles of deities in golden thread, shimmering beautifully in the dim interior. The caisson ceiling was painted with various designs left behind by generations of skilled craftsmen. In the center of the hall, a golden statue of a deity sat majestically, watching over the worshippers with a solemn gaze.
It's really a bit cold. I think I should get something hot. You see, here we have a Wudang style milk tea. Okay, so they add Chinese medicines into the milk tea. Alright, let me try my Chinese medicine milk tea. Well, okay, I would say not too sweet, and you can taste the herb. The medicines taste flavor, definitely, but it's not too strong. Mild, blends good with the milk tea itself. Oh, yes, it's such a pleasure to have a hot milk tea in hand, especially in this windy and cold day.
Finally, after wandering through the mountain palaces and dim halls, I reached the world-famous Dragon Head Incense. Perched on sheer cliff face, Taoist artisans built a stone dragon sculpture that just 3 meters out over the precipice, with an incense burner placed on its head. Legend has it that on important festivals, Taoist monks would blindfold themselves, walk out onto the dragon's head, and burn incense on the cliff edge to offer their most sincere prayers. Nowadays, however, this ritual has been banned.
Well, I'd like to spend more time here, but it's really a bit freezing and chilly. And I have to catch the last bus going back to my dojo. So this will be an end for today's visit.
I wonder if it was because I absorbed some of the mountain's spiritual energy after yesterday's tour, but this morning, I was already able to complete the first few moves of the sword routine flawlessly. That was when I finally began to grasp what Master had said. Once you've mastered the movements, you'll realize that every gesture in Tai Chi and Tai Chi sword is designed to follow the natural rhythm of your body. When every step is executed correctly, it flows with a coherence and harmony almost like a dance. In the afternoon, Master taught us our final lesson, meditation. This is a practice passed down in Taoism for thousands of years, originally intended to harmonize the body and mind and seek inner peace. But perhaps it was the intense early morning training catching up with me. I actually fell fast asleep sitting up. Master gently woke me up. My face burned with embarrassment. But he just smiled and said casually, being able to fall asleep like this is also a form of self-cultivation. In Master's eyes, spiritual practice is never about fighting against your body. It's about aligning with your natural instincts. Sleep when you are tired, drink when you are thirsty. This radical acceptance embodies the very core of Taoism. Tao follows nature. When you stop struggling against your own nature, that's when your real spiritual journey begins.
Hi guys, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is my first time not falling asleep since I came up the mountain. I closed my eyes. I went over past 5 days. In my mind, I disconnected myself from the modern society, from my modern daily life. To be honest, I didn't get any magical or mysterious experience I once expected. but I have a kind of feeling. I think I have reconstructed the connection between my mind, between myself, and this real world around me. As I walked along the mountain path, I could smell a hint of flower in the wet mist. I spotted tiny green buds sprouting at the tips of the dry branches. When I practiced on the mountain top, I heard the distant toll of bell from the temple on the opposite hill. Time to leave. My story here comes to end, while Shifu stays behind, continuing his cultivation with mountains. I asked him, the Tao is so profound and boundless. After all these years of practicing up here, hasn't it been hard? Shifu said, climbing the mountain is to seek the Tao. Climbing down is to live the Tao. There is no easier option. So now I ask you, my friend behind the screen, have you found your own Tao?